Are you on your journey to buy a home and you're working through some of your research and how to do the process correctly? Well, using my 20 years experience selling real estate full-time, working with over 200 families, I boiled down this process for you into a very detailed home buyer guide. Today, we're going through phase 2, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with HomeownerExperience.com. Today we're talking about how to buy a home in San Jose with a very detailed step-by-step ultimate guide. Today we're going to cover phase 2. So if you go over to our home buying guide on HomeownerExperience.com, you'll find the link directly below this video. You will see that we've got step-by-step process to help you through the home buying journey. Phase 1 we already covered is regarding research and preparing to make sure this is the right step for you emotionally and financially. Then phase 2, what we're covering today is setting up your team. So the first thing that we want to talk about is why it's important to have a very strong team on your side. The first is you may have not done this before. You may have not bought a home in a long time, or maybe you haven't bought a home in Silicon Valley where the market is quite different and the pace of real estate sales is very different. If that's the case, you're really going to want a custom guide who's going to walk through with you step by step, help you understand what's coming, how to do this correctly and sanely with the minimum stress. And so that's what this guide is intended to do, to educate you, to guide you, and to be a tool to walk you through this process. Of course, we would love to be part of your team, and we're going to talk about how to set up your team. So we look forward to setting up a buyer consultation with you in the near future to see if we would be a great match. So setting up your team, there are going to be 2 major players that you're going to be working with. The first is going to be your real estate agent, which of course we would love to apply for that job. And the second is going to be your mortgage lender. Both are critical and both have very different tasks, but also both should be working together. So one of the first places to look for a mortgage referral is going to be from your real estate agent. So you want to start first with the real estate agent. Now you're going to want to look for somebody who's doing a good amount of business because the Silicon Valley market ebbs and flows, goes up and down pretty quickly. I've literally seen it turn on a dime in less than 2 weeks. And so if you are working with an agent who is selling quite a few homes, they're not going to know that that market has changed, and that can cost you tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ouch. So you definitely want to avoid that. So there are some questions here that we go through. I recommend you check out this home buyer guide because all these links are live to other resources like a table of contents for you, why you should use a buyer's agent, how much does a buyer's agent cost. We're continually adding more and more resources here. Definitely working on what is a buyer representation agreement, what does that mean, what is a home buyer consultation. So we're going to get all of those resources built out here for you so that you can learn and educate yourself at your own pace. Now, when you're ready to take the next step, you definitely should be interviewing real estate agents. But the first thing to do is in phase 1 to focus and narrow down your search and neighborhoods because you're going to want to work with an agent who is really an expert in the areas that you are focusing on. So you can learn more about my homeowner experience team on our website and what areas we focus on, but also getting together with an agent during buyer consultation or having an initial conversation, that is one of the first questions you should address and talk through. You also want to pick an agent who you can communicate with, who maybe relates to you on a personal level, or maybe who communicates the way that you like to communicate. For example, if you've watched my channel, you know I'm very analytical and like to talk through a lot of data. If that's how you think, maybe we're potentially a great match. There's definitely things that you're going to want to continue to research and understand, but my word of caution would be not to assume that every real estate agent is the same, to definitely do your homework and talk to a few to understand who's going to be the right fit for you. Because I have heard many complaints from clients who worked with an agent before, maybe bought a house, were in it for a lot more money than they expected or didn't anticipate repairs that were coming up because the person they worked with the first time didn't do a thorough job. So they've ended up working with me because of the process that I work through. So, make sure you're shopping around and finding that right agent. There are some words of advice here in this buyer guide that you should definitely read through. Now, how do you get a list of agents to talk to and to interview? The first is going to be talk to friends and family that maybe have bought or sold a home recently. The second is to search online for the area or neighborhood that you're looking in. Try to be as specific as possible. San Jose is a really big area. Maybe you're looking specifically in an area with good schools, or in Cambrian or Almaden Valley or South San Jose. Getting an idea of who does business in those areas is going to be really important. Also, you're going to want to maybe search YouTube or other areas to see who might be a local expert and gather a list of names that are worth you talking to and checking out. First, check them out online. Secondly, with your short list, go ahead and set up some phone calls or some buyer consultations. Once you've hired your agent, the next step is to look at a mortgage lender. Now, you may work with your current bank. That could be good depending on your bank. Or you really should talk to people who have recently bought a home using a lender for a purchase, not a refinance. It's very different. Also, your realtor or agent that you hire is going to have some recommendations. If they're doing lots of business, they are working with mortgage lenders who are validated, who can close deals, who understand the current market. Those are really important factors to making your process as smooth as possible. You also want somebody who's going to give you a lot of great options, have the best rate. I definitely recommend you shop rates, and I'll go through a process on how to do that. I actually have a video on how to choose a mortgage lender. What is the difference between different levels, like a pre-qualification versus a pre-approval. Again, we're going to continue to add more resources here as we've recorded videos or written up blogs. So this resource becomes an all-in-one hub for you for all kinds of educational content. So I hope you find this very valuable, and you can check off phase 2 really soon by interviewing your real estate agent and your mortgage lender. Again, check out the home buyer guide. We'd love to hear from you personally and have you introduce yourself to us so that we can make a personal connection with you. Thanks so much for watching.
When you get serious about finding the next home, even if it's 3 to 6 months away, I recommend a buyer consultation. People often ask me tips and tricks for navigating the home buying process, and this buyer consultation meeting is focused on planning and educating you with insider tips. We enjoy putting the best plan together with you to create the best outcome. When we meet, these are things you can expect, things that my best clients say they really appreciated. First off, insider tips for the loan process and our list of favorite lenders, discussion of your purchase power and budget so you understand how banks determine loan amount. Third, help you build your ideal property profile with your budget in mind, and also talk through the best tools to use and how to avoid common mistakes. And really valuable is we help you make a strategic plan and timeline to meet your goals. We'll also discuss different neighborhoods and cities and address your questions in this meeting. If these insider tips are what you're looking for, schedule a free buyer consultation with us, either in person or on Zoom. Check out the link below.